This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live.
The last Friday Night Live of the 2013 football season is here. The man with the cast. He's been with me all year long as Chris Stonebreaker. I am Steve Montoya. It's a bit sad as football season is winding down.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm more sad that this is the last FNL of the 2013 high school football season, or that in 2 weeks high school football will be over with for this year. I just don't know.
Yeah, let's focus on the good times ahead, and that's these next 2 weeks. And to do that, let's bring in our national football editor, Steven Spiewak. And Steve, we got 2 weeks to go. A lot of big games this weekend. Tell us about some of the bigger ones across the country.
Steve, the theme of this weekend is rematch. There are several huge games that took place last year and are taking place again this year, and it all starts in the Lone Star State of Texas, where two top 5 teams are doing battle on Saturday, Allen and DeSoto. DeSoto, just an explosive offensive team, both this year and last year, and when they met Allen last year, Allen got the upper hand 51-36. That was a game that DeSoto entered as a favorite. This year, Allen enters as the favorite as the nation's #2 ranked team. They're led by their sensational junior quarterback, Kyler Murray, who is a National Player of the Year candidate. But DeSoto has a National Player of the Year candidate as well, and their 5'9" quarterback, Desmond White. It was White who led DeSoto last week to a big come-from-behind victory over Euless Trinity. So those two guys going at it on Saturday. This is the game of the year in the state of Texas, and a game that I'm really, really excited about. Now, another rematch is taking place in Northern California. De La Salle taking on Folsom for the second time in the regional bowl game of the California Open Division. Last year, De La Salle dominated this one 49-15. It was a big letdown because this game was really highly anticipated, but De La Salle was able to stifle Jake Browning, who completed only 38 of 64 passes for 284 yards, and De La Salle actually intercepted him twice that game. But this year, Jake Browning is on a whole nother level. He's averaging 385 yards a game and 5.3 touchdowns every single game. But I think, guys, that the storyline here could be the De La Salle rushing attack going up against Folsom's defense. Last year, De La Salle was able to score 6 times on the ground, and that Folsom run defense looks a little shaky, seeing how they performed against the likes of Jesuit. So that is the key matchup. Forget about Jake Browning. It's can Folsom slow down the De La Salle running game? But there's another huge matchup in California, this time down in Southern California for the Open Division regional game down there. Corona Centennial taking on St. John Bosco. Centennial, guys, probably the most consistent program in Southern California over the last decade. They are always in a mix, seemingly, for the CIF bowl games. And last year in this game, they knocked off Narbonne. And to get to this game this year, they defeated Vista Murrieta, and they are posting some silly offensive numbers. They scored 751 points so far on the season. But I'll tell you what, St. John Bosco can post points as well. They've scored 665 points, and they are led by their outstanding junior quarterback, Josh Rosen, one of the best recruits in the country, regardless of class, at the quarterback position. St. John Bosco is undefeated. They rolled through a very, very difficult Trinity League schedule. And if they're able to get past Centennial tomorrow night, guys, it could set up a huge matchup potentially with De La Salle. And as we've talked about in the past, a St. John Bosco versus De La Salle bowl matchup could be one of the most heavily anticipated games in California state history. But we'll wrap up in the state of Florida with another rematch. Armwood against Miami Central. These two teams met for a state final in 2010. And really, they're two of the more talented and successful programs in the state of Florida. Armwood is led by their head coach, Sean Callahan, and Miami Central by their outstanding first-year head coach, Roland Smith. In the 2010 game, Armwood won 40-31, but due to some ineligible players, actually both teams had to forfeit this game, so the title was basically vacated. So you know both teams are probably a little hungrier to come out on top tomorrow. In that game, Delvin Cook the sensational, at that time, freshman for Miami Central, returned a 99-yard kickoff return the distance for a touchdown. This year, he's been great as well, but without Joseph Yerby, who's lost due to injury, I think Miami Central is really going to focus on getting Cook the ball. But that Armwood defense, guys, could be up to the task. They've allowed 9.7 points per game, and that's the calling card for Armwood. It's their defense. So it'll be really interesting to see when that loaded Miami Central offense goes up against that stout Armwood defense.
All right, thanks, Steve. More with him here in a bit. Now, one of the top recruits in all of the country is going for a state title in Georgia. Let's get to know Lorenzo Carter and get to the game, powered by American Family Insurance.
Get to the game, powered by American Family Insurance. 6'5" defensive end Lorenzo Carter of Norcross, Georgia is a 5-star recruit with big dreams on and off the field.
My dream is to just either get my degree or go to the NFL. Either one, I feel like I'd be successful and I'd be able to help my family out.
Other than the NFL, Lorenzo would like a career in engineering. He wants to do something that helps the community. Being active in the community is something that we've always taught our children. We always taught to give back.
Lorenzo's done a great job over the Boys and Girls Club, and to me, that means more than what he does on the football field.
We always tell them that if God has given you many gifts, a lot is expected of you.
Lorenzo has the ability to play multiple positions, but he knows where his passion lies.
He's a fast player, explosive. I love defense. They try to put me at tight end, but I don't like offense.
I said, Lorenzo, why don't you play tight end? He said, no, Ma, I like to play defense. I want to hit somebody, I want to hit the quarterback. So he's always stuck to defense.
He's one of those kids that everybody loves to coach. In practice, he's going full speed. You don't become one of the top defensive ends in the nation by not playing hard.
He puts his mind to do the extra to get better. He's not happy with mediocre.
Lorenzo knows he is fortunate to have parents who have been there to support him every step of the way.
My mom and dad are the most important people in my life. Without them, I would be nothing.
He wants to make sure that we're proud of him, and we tell him that we're proud of him.
The relationship me and my son have is unique. My wife says sometimes we're like two kids. We get in trouble with Mom.
My biggest influence would be my dad. He's just shown me that what it means to be a man. It's all about your family, family first.
To watch more inspiring stories about these incredible athletes and their dreams, visit amfam.com/gettothegame.
A great, talented player right there. And Norcross actually lost 55-0 their first game of the year against Washington on national television. And then 2 weeks later, they went up against North Gwinnett and lost against their rival, who this week they face in the 6A state championship in Georgia. So they could go full circle and have a crazy, wild finish to their season, losing 55-0 and then now winning a state championship. Wow. But we've had wild finishes all year, and actually we added one last week in Virginia.
That's right, Chris. Let's roll the clip right here. This is Briarwoods against North Stafford. Briarwoods is up 8 points, and so they're trying to kill some time before the game's over, but there's still 2 seconds left to go. North Stafford down to their last play. QB Jalen Surratt scrambles and then heaves it deep, and his receiver Guy Keith gets the tip. He's going to dive in for the end zone. Yes, touchdown. So this game went from basically over to 2 points away from going to overtime. North Stafford is going to line up here, Chris, to tie the game. This is the semifinals in Virginia, and they get stuffed. Game over. Briarwoods would hold on to the victory. Talk about high, back down to low.
Yeah, you get that chance to go in and then take it to overtime and then just get stopped. That's a wild finish. And we've had a ton of those across the country this entire season. And we want to show you 10 of the best right now on our wild finishes of 2013. And Roy of Utah quarterback Tyler Skidmore right now is going to hit Justin Weaves to give Roy a stunning 13-12 victory over Fremont. This Hail Mary pass was dubbed the Plain City Prayer.
This one in Oregon, back in October. Lake Ridge's Eric Dungy hits Joe Sindlinger for the win over Lake Oswego.
2 for 2 thus far for me with Hail Marys. Guess when you talk crazy finishes, you have to talk Hail Marys, but this one was to end the first half. Cade Barnes hauls in the tip pass and gets help from his Tomball Texas teammates from 10 yards out of the end zone to score this TD. And the fans go.
I love the fans at the end of the game. All right, in Ohio, Bloom Carroll QB Kelly Missler somehow connects with receiver Tyler Sorg here for a 52-yard touchdown after the tip, the grab, the score. That would force overtime. They went on to win in double OT.
Columbia River of Vancouver, Washington attempted a 32-yard field goal to win the game, trailing 24-23 with a few seconds left on the clock, but it was blocked by Skyview. But then Columbia River senior Reese Keller picks up the ball and rumbles into the end zone for a 29-24 unimaginable victory.
And last play for Brother Rice. One last attempt to win, and Jason Alessi makes the grab. That gave them a win over De La Salle Collegiate in late September. One play to go, and they got it. Big win there in Michigan back early on in the season.
4.5 seconds left, and the Tigers of Fridley High in Minnesota lead 22-19. That's when Irondale's Jared Brinney escapes from not one but two defenders and heaves the ball down the field to Matt Jarrett, who catches it at the 10 and walks in for the game-winning TD with no time on the clock.
Illinois Elk Grove High School quarterback Adam O'Malley throws it deep, tip drill, and Mike Bishop grabs it, but can he get into the end zone? No, yes, he's in. What a win there. That was back in early October, and that is one wild finish there.
It reminds me of the Super Bowl with the Rams and the Titans.
Yep.
The Titans got tackled and just couldn't get it into the end zone.
And this reminds me of the Music City Miracle back, what was that, 5-10 years ago in Tennessee.
Yeah, hey, and you know what? Great call there in a game that saw 44 points in the final 4 minutes. The last run by Derek Dick of A&M Consolidated in Texas was the best of them all. After the onside kick was recovered by the Tigers, the junior took the ball and the lateral and simply made an amazing play, reversing the field and running down the sideline. Watch this, he follows the fans going down. His teammates are yelling him, and then once he passes the end zone, he knows it's done, and the fans, he rushes to lifting A&M Consolidated over Copers Cove, 44-41.
Oh, so much emotions in those games.
Oh man, there's this, you just see it, you feel it in high school football. It's a community effort when they win these late games on some wild finishes. And we will have some more great plays later on here in the show.
All right, as we close out the season, we get to reward some of the best, some of the best players from across the country. Hey, let's reward the best Friday Night Live host of the season. It goes to
Steve Spiewak, who I'm going to bring in right now. Spiewak, hey, let's discuss our postseason awards. You are our favorite here on Friday Night Live, and I want you to talk about the awards schedule since you're the one that makes the tough decisions on the awards themselves.
Thanks, Chris, and I appreciate the honor. Kevin Askelin and I are hard at work already beginning to identify guys for our All-American teams, which will debut on December 30th. What we'll do is start with a freshman All-American team on that day, recognizing the top 9th graders in the country, and then we will roll right along with a sophomore All-American team, a junior All-American team, and then on January 6th, we'll release our full overall All-American team encompassing all grades, and that's kind of the granddaddy of them all. And then after that, the following week, we will dive into small school All-Americans and medium school All-Americans, guys that can sometimes get lost in the shuffle of kids at bigger schools with more publicity. So what we're really trying to do is highlight and recognize as many All-American performances as we can. So there will be a first team and a second team for all of those All-American lists. And I really think it's going to be a great way to spotlight some of the country's best players and performances.
Well, congratulations on your award here from both of us. But something else that happens every year at the conclusion of the high school football season, and that is the MaxPreps Tour of Champions presented by the Army National Guard. This will be the 9th year of the football TOC. 50 teams will be selected out of 17,000 teams in America to go along with the football tour. We will also be congratulating 10 volleyball teams, 20 girls and boys soccer teams, and 20 boys and girls basketball teams. Follow all the tour stops by going to maxpreps.com/TOC.
All right, Chris, the country has been dealing with some bad weather. I mean, even us here in NorCal have some snow. We're not complaining because there's been much worse weather.
Yes, and you would have probably seen that if you were watching any of the NFL games this past Sunday, especially the one between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. You would remember Calvin Johnson catching the ball, sliding through, and just all that snow in his face. Not far away from that game, though, there was a high school game in Loveland, Ohio. Look at these pictures here. This video shows Loveland going against Glenville in a high school game. Of course, that just watching it makes you want to put on a parka.
Maybe my old school Bulls one I have in my closet.
I think that would look real nice, real nice. I wish I had my old school starter jacket to throw over that one, but we will get to that. But if you know, you can only see every 10 yards, basically. You can see the goal line, and you can see the middle of the field. But I don't know if you can see anything else, not even in front. And this shows you right here. I mean, he probably couldn't even see the receiver. And the ball was just landed in his hands. Good for him as he takes it back. But that kind of weather, man, I mean, it's cold out there.
Yeah, it's tough. And then for a quarterback to try to make a pass like that, slips out of his hands, pick six. Great play there for Loveland. All right, Chris, one thing, though, is our professional photographers out there, they're not scared to go out in that cold, whether it's rain or snow. And we have some great photos that they have taken. Let's start it off right here in Texas. Kip Gardner at a quarterfinal matchup. This is Texas, Chris, not typical there.
Oh, it's not typical, but you know what? We have another photo from Texas right here. Ryan versus Cedar Hill in the UIL 5A Division II quarterfinal. Photo by George Walker.
Glenn Cross got this of St. Peter's Prep fans in New Jersey rooting their team on in the rain.
Looks like Spiewak right there. He must have went out. Now this picture is of the Oak Ridge versus Folsom game. That's Folsom Bulldogs sitting on the bench during the CIF San Joaquin Division I final. Photo by Ralph Thompson.
Speaking of Ralph, he got the band out there in NorCal rooting their team on in their ponchos in the rain, still cheering on their team.
Bands that make you dance. Bands that make you dance. And right here, St. Michael's doesn't look like they're going to be dancing as there is snow on the field. Photo by Luke Novak.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and Ken Reeve Jr. got some Christmas trees. This is before a game in Pennsylvania. We want to thank all our pro photographers out there going out there in the rain and snow, and we also want to thank the fans, the bands, and even the players getting out there supporting their teams in the cold.
Yep, the cold weather just in football. I mean, I've never played in a game like that. Have you?
I've played in some rain, but not snow.
I've never played, so.
Well, you broke your hand.
Yeah, but if you watched last night on the NFL Network, you would have seen the San Diego Chargers versus Denver Broncos game, and the weather was 34 degrees at kickoff, but it wasn't like those photos that we just showed there. But I'm sure the running back for the Denver Broncos, Sean Moreno, wished it was so he could have got the ball and maybe made more of an impact on the play. And I right now want to call in Steve Spiewak. He's going to talk about Sean Moreno, the fellow New Jerseyan, in our way back when.
Chris, Sean Moreno is one of the all-time greats from the state of New Jersey. He was a 4-year starter at Middletown South High School, located down the shore in Central Jersey. And you could see he is every bit of the 200 pounds that they listed him as in high school at 5'11". He was a load to bring down. He started, like I said, for 4 years, and in his career totaled 6,268 yards, and he really went out on an incredible streak. They won 36 consecutive games and 3 straight state titles at Middletown South, feeding the ball to that man, Sean Moreno. Over the last 2 seasons, he had 65 rushing touchdowns. He also played a little defense and some special teams. As a senior, guys, that Middletown South team outscored opponents 483 to 75, a type of dominance that is very uncommon in the state of New Jersey.
Hey, Steve, being in New Jersey, was it kind of known that Knowshon Moreno was going to be something special? Kind of could see he was going to be an NFL player?
I think everyone knew he had a very bright future ahead of him, especially when the likes of big SEC schools were recruiting him, and ultimately he obviously ended up committing to the University of Georgia. But I think the most telling thing about how good Moreno and those Middletown South teams were is that in 2005, when they won the Central Section state title, they were ranked the #1 team in the state of New Jersey. Think of that, a Central New Jersey public school ranked ahead of the likes of Don Bosco Prep, Bergen Catholic, St. Peter's Prep, Paramus Catholic. That has not happened since, and it could be a while before that happened again. That just goes to show how good Moreno and Middletown South were.
All right, thanks, Steve, and no doubt about it, Knowshon Moreno is doing well in the NFL. All right, together with Chevy, we've headed to the state of Texas to feature 8 hometown heroes. This week, it's Coach Corby Meekins.
One of the top coaches in the state of Texas, Corby Meekins, is this week's Texas Hometown Hero. Brought to you by the all-new 2014 Silverado.
Corby Meekins is in his 10th season as head coach at Spring Westfield High School. He's been working alongside his brother Matt for a few more years on top of that at this Northwest Houston area school. Corby and Matt have 2 other brothers and a sister. Their father was a coach for 25 years, including 9 as head coach at Class 3A Shepherd High School in East Texas. For the Meekins family, football has been a way of life.
Grew up talking football. We grew up in the field house. You know, we're field house rats and coaches' sons. And, you know, this is all I know. Makes it special when he gets to come out to the games.
If you want to go with Dad, you better get up while it's dark, and you're going to get home when it's dark. So sitting in there when they're game planning, running the old school film through the projector, it's been a blessing. Our dad's taught us a great work ethic, and we're just trying to continue the same things here.
Corby took a chance on Alton, who was in his first offensive coordinator coaching position after playing at Syracuse University.
I have nothing but highest respect for him. One of the best coaches I've ever been around. We have a great balance of kids that come from all different backgrounds. But the bottom line is they all come together for one purpose, and that's to get better, to win, and become a family.
Corby Meekins is a Chevy hometown hero in every sense of the word, and his ability to run an efficient football program shows year after year with double-digit win totals.
We've been playing 13 weeks, and the biggest room in the house is room for improvement still. So, you know, we've got to take that next step.
More importantly, an ability to turn boys into men and win in the game of life. In Northwest Houston at Spring Westfield High School, I'm Jeff Power.
This has been an episode of Texas Hometown Heroes, brought to you by the all-new 2014 Silverado. For more episodes, visit maxpreps.com/hometown heroes.
And again, I'm just gonna, reiterate what was just said right there. To see that as well as others in their entirety, go to maxpreps.com/hometown heroes and tell us about your hometown heroes via Twitter using the hashtag Hometown Heroes.
Yeah, some amazing stories to check out. All right, starting in mid-December through early January, we're going to be releasing more top plays, our bizarre plays, our trick plays, defensive, special teams, runs. We got a lot of top plays to show off.
Yeah, but why wait until then when we are on the show right now?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's not wait. Let's get right now to some of our top catches from 2013. And like in the photos, we start in Texas, University in Waco, Texas. Byron Pyburn to Jordan Randolph, 82-yard TD grab where Jordan Randolph just goes up and over the defender. Not bad defense, just better offense on that play.
I'm going to start the one-handed theme here. This is Jerry Thompson in New York. Watch him go high and up with the one hand. He pulls it in on the sideline there in New York.
Now to Illinois. Right here, you will see Neuqua Valley's Mikey Dudek with a great over the catch of the defender early in September. He brought this one to us.
This might be my favorite, Chris. Tyler Bala here in Pennsylvania. Watch him go backwards for that great catch there in Pennsylvania.
Now let's go out west to Vallejo, California, home of CC Sabathia and
E40.
And receiver Devin Bracey is going to go to the corner right now. 5'10", Devin Bracey up and over the defender for the touchdown. And he gets up, says thank you, and gets the ball back to the ref. Good job.
Nice. All right, we're going to head to the state of Kansas. And at first, Wellington High School is going to try to trick you here. Run a little sweep. It's going to be a run. No, he pulls it up and he throws it to Colin Reichenberg. And Reichenberg looks like he does this every day in practice. He grabs it, goes in for the score. Nice trick play there in Kansas, but the catch was better.
To Missouri, Nixa, Missouri to be precise. And this is receiver Mason Tyndall. He goes to the sideline right here, reaches out, ball bobbles, but he still stays with it and brings in the catch right in front of his teammates. Good job there, Mason Tyndall.
It's even better when you make a great catch to win a game. That happened here in Michigan as Alex Merchant throws it to Pete Pistalis, who tips it to himself and makes the touchdown grab. That was in late November.
Now Drew Rayford for Pompton Lakes in New Jersey right now is going to be ISO'd on the top of your screen. Quarterback sees it, says just go to the end zone. I'm going to throw it up and let you do the work. He fights off the defender, tips it to himself for the 30-yard TD grab.
That might be the best catch at that stadium all year long, Chris. All right, in Florida, this one's even better because it's in the playoffs. Armwood QB is about to hit Hunter Zilbar in the back of the end zone for the one-handed grab. Just some great catches overall.
Oh yeah, and we want to see all of your great catches from throughout the season. Use the hashtag #MPMoment that's shown right now on the screen via Twitter or even Facebook. If your friend posted a video earlier in the season, you think it's a good play, go to him and leave a comment, hashtag #MPMoment, or just post it to us on Twitter using that same hashtag and we'll find it for sure.
Yeah, and Chris, we're not done getting the plays together. We could always add to them, so make sure to upload those. All right, before we take off, we want to show you what the top 10's looking like heading into these next two season and these next 2 weeks. And let's bring in Steve Spiewak too here as we look at the top 10. And Steve, what jumps out to you over the next few weeks? We talked about this last week, but Booker T. Washington is set at number 1 as of now. But like we said last week, there's a lot of great games left to be played, and some movement can happen at the top.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, look at the top 5 teams outside of Booker T, you know, in terms of Allen and DeSoto and St. John Bosco and De La Salle. Those are all teams that could drop from the rankings or rise significantly because the teams they're going up against are also ranked. You know, if St. John Bosco beats De La Salle to finish their season, or if Allen adds a victory over DeSoto to its resume, those are very significant wins. And we mentioned last week, Booker T. Washington's real signature victories came early in the season, and some of these schools ranked directly beneath it are really going to close out strong and going to very much narrow that gap between number 1 and the rest of the field.
All right, Steven, as we close out the season, a lot of the big games have moved to Saturday, tomorrow, a lot of the bigger games going on. And we want to say congratulations to a school in Texas. If you want to see a 3-0 game, don't go to a Lido game.
I wouldn't think that if you went to that game, you would see a 3-0 game.
No. And they, why we're mentioning Alito is they broke the national record for most points in a season. The original record was 903. They have 956 right now, Chris. There's still a possibility that they have 2 more games left to go.
And so they're going to be blowing out that record. Similar to Jake Browning, I know he's a little bit of ways. I mean, he still needs 8 touchdowns, but he could be breaking the California state record for most touchdown passes thrown. And he's only almost done with his junior year.
Yep. And with these big games going on around the country, a lot of interest in the games. We've seen very high views with our live scoring network, because if you're not able to get to a game because of travel or wherever, you can.
Yeah, last week we actually saw in one of our quick score games 26,000 views for the Oak Ridge Folsom game. And if you're going to a game and you get there and you see that it isn't being live score, go to quickscore.com or your team's schedule page and sign up to live score that game via Quick Score. It's fun, it's free, it's easy, it's fans serving fans. It's MaxPreps' mobile scoring network, quickscore.com. And please, I mean, I know I follow it, and I know you do as well, and pass it on your Twitter page. So
that's right. All right, well, we want to thank everybody this season for joining us here on Friday Night Live. We want to wish all those still playing the best of luck. Happy holidays from Chris Stonebreaker, Steve Montoya, our producers, and everyone here at MaxPreps.com. Happy holidays. This is Friday Night Live.
This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live.